Emotional men are very feminine, okay? And it's not the emotion itself that makes these men feminine, it's the lack of control over the emotion, okay? And the reason it's feminine, the reason that if you have no control over your emotions, for example, somebody insults you and you get angry and then you go and punch that person because you're angry, that is you showcasing a lack of control over your emotions. That doesn't show strength, right? The fact that you went over there and just punched the guy because he insulted you with words, that doesn't show everyone how strong you are. It shows everyone the lack of control you have over your emotions, and it's quite a feminine trait to have, right? This is why when females get into, altercations with each other, they just scream, they just shout at each other, right? There's no control there at all. And that's not to say that a lack of control means you are feminine. It just means you are more on the feminine side than you are on the masculine side, okay? And the reason for that is because feminine energy is all about the flow of emotion. It's about the flow of the present moment. What do they feel right now? This is why girls all the time, you might have a girlfriend and you've experienced this before, they'll have these random mood swings, right? One time they'll be perfectly fine, happy, over the moon, they'll love you, everything's going great, and then the next moment, in literally the flick of a switch, that wasn't as cool, the flick of a switch, right? They're down here, and then they're upset with you, they're pissed off with you, they're emotional, they feel like crying, you don't know why, you don't know what you've done wrong. It's simply because they're in their feminine energy way more than you are. And when you understand this concept, this dynamics between masculine and feminine energy, you understand, that's exactly why she's doing what she's doing. All right, so that is why, I guess, if you are a man that feels like crying all the time, and then you cry because of that, right? You go with what you feel in that present moment rather than what you should do, then you are a feminine man. And that's not to insult you, that's not something you should get offended at. It's just simply understand how energy works, understand feminine and masculine energy. Okay, feminine energy, again, it's all about the motivation of the present moment. There is no external outer source that they're motivated by, something that's higher than themselves. They're simply motivated by what they feel in this present moment. It's about the flow of intimacy, the flow of emotions, being caring and nurturing for, the loved ones and the people around them, the infants, the younger ones. That's what feminine energy is all about. That's why they are so in tune with their emotions. Okay, maybe not even in tune, because you can be a masculine man and be in tune with your emotions. I think that's absolutely paramount. You should be in tune. Maybe the word I'm looking for is they're a bit more, and again, don't take this in an offensive way, just emotionally unstable, let's say, is the only thing I can think of. It's just they're more likely to embrace those emotions in the present moment and to let them out. Does that make sense? So don't take that in an offensive way. That's just simply how it is. And if you're being honest with yourself, if you are a feminine individual, whether that's a man or a woman, you are just much more emotional and you have less control over your emotions, and it's done on purpose. Okay, that's supposed to be that way, because then when the feminine women are around the infants, the babies that they're caring for, the nurturing for, they must be so in tune with that emotion so that they can care for the infant in the most optimal way. Okay, now masculine energy, however, is all about the something that's higher than yourself, the mission, the goal, the purpose, something that you are striving towards, right? And it's going to sound, it's sexist, whatever, it's sexist. That is just the way it is. I'm not saying that women cannot have a goal. I'm not saying that women cannot have a purpose, an external thing to focus on. It just means if they do, they are acting they're acting with their masculine energy more than with their feminine energy. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean that the women can't do that. It just means they're using their masculine energy more than the feminine. Okay, and that's important to understand, is that there is no one out there that is 100% masculine or 100% feminine. You have a balance. Sometimes your balances might be, a bit out of whack. Sometimes it might be a bit too balanced. Sometimes it might be on the wrong scale, but you have a bit of feminine energy inside of you, hence why you feel emotion. If you didn't, you'd just be a psychopath. You'd be, emotionless. So when you feel that emotion, the topic of the video and the importance of your emotions are, you must learn to control them. You're most likely a masculine, or you want to be a masculine man. If you watch my videos, you're most likely a male, a young man, and you want to learn, right, controlling your emotions is vital. If you're angry and you get punched in, for example, you're sparring, right? You're doing a sparring session in boxing, you get punched in the face, and that pisses you off. You feel angry, or maybe you feel fear, whichever emotion that you feel. If you are a feminine man, you will act on that emotion in the present moment because you're more likely to just flow with what you feel in that present moment. Does that make sense? So you feel angry because the guy punched you in the face, and now you're pissed off, and now you lose your composure, you lose your form, and you're just swinging everywhere because you're pissed off because you're angry. It's the same with fear. You might be in a situation where you're walking down the street with your family, your little sister, something like that. You have to protect these people. That is your job as a masculine man, to protect the people that you are with, regardless of who it is. So for example, someone tries to mug you, tries to attack you and your family, you feel fear. If you are a feminine man, you're going to run away. You're going to cower away in the corner because you are scared. And you're going to allow that fear to dictate your actions, to take over the situation. Okay? Now, the problem with this is you're not... Again, being masculine is about committing yourself to something that is higher than yourself. So in that situation where your family's being attacked, you have to be selfless in that. Yeah, you're scared. Yeah, you feel like cowering away. That's what you feel like doing. But because you are a masculine man, you understand it's your duty to protect your family. For anyone in that situation, not even just masculine men, for anybody, you want to protect your fucking family, don't you? You're not going to just sit there and allow them to get hurt. So you have to cultivate that masculine energy, control your emotions, and make them work for you, rather than cowering away and allowing your emotions to work against you. Okay? Your emotions are always going to be there. You cannot be fearless. You cannot just not be scared of anything. You can't get rid of the emotions. Okay? They're always going to be there. You have to learn to control them, especially as a man. Because if you are ever in a situation like that and you feel fear and you give in to that fear and you allow it to dictate your actions, you're going to run away. You're going to cower away. You're going to be like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'll just call the police. Don't worry, guys. I'll call the police. Do you understand what I'm saying? So learning to control that emotions through exposure, which I'll get on in a second. I'll teach you how to control your emotions. But you must just understand this concept of... a lot of guys have this wrong. Is it okay for men to cry? Is it okay for men to feel emotion? That's where they go wrong. It's okay for you to feel emotion. It's okay for you to, in that situation, to feel scared. Someone's attacking you and your family. That's a pretty scary situation to be in. It's okay for you to feel fear, and it's actually needed. You must feel that fear. Because fear is just your body's way of getting itself ready for a challenge, for something that you're not used to. So using that fear, learning how to harness it and using it to your advantage is absolutely vital. If you don't have any fear, if you're in that situation, you don't feel fear, you're not going to be in the most optimal mindset to deal with that threat. You're going to be lethargic. You're going to be sluggish. Oh, well, it doesn't really matter. Whatever. Everything will be okay because you don't feel any fear, right? So fear is needed. Your emotions are needed. They're there for a reason. They serve a purpose, but you must learn to control them, okay? That is what being a man is all about. It's all right to feel like you need to cry. It's okay. I cry sometimes. I feel like I need to cry sometimes. Now, the problem is a lot of men don't understand when to let that emotion out or how to use it. So, for example, you're in the shopping centre with your girlfriend, and for whatever reason, something triggers you and you feel like crying. Okay, just a random example I can think of. You're in public, you're around people, you may be a target for some people. You know, people out there, yeah, this world's a dangerous one. You've got to be aware of that. Okay, you start crying just because you feel like crying. You start crying in the shopping mall. Not only are you making yourself look like a victim, you make yourself look like a target for people that may want to rob you or whatever, right? People that may want to attack your girlfriend. You look like a bitch. You look like a pussy. And I know it sounds, it's rude, it's offensive, but it's absolutely true. And if you're being honest with yourself, you could probably agree with me. If you just saw a grown man in the shopping centre just crying, you'd be like, well, fucking hell, mate, get a grip of yourself, right? You're in public, get a grip. And that's not, men shouldn't cry, men shouldn't cry. Learn when to let it out. When you're in a situation like that and you're in public, that is not the time to let your emotions out. If for whatever reason you feel angry, you're pissed off that day, that is not the time to let your emotions out, because you're going to go around just punching things. You're going to go around punching people, getting yourself into trouble. So you must learn, okay, I feel sad right now. I feel like fucking crying. Get a grip of yourself, control yourself, take a deep breath, harness that emotion, and let it out when you get home. Go and have a shower, then you can let your emotions out. You're in a safe environment. You're not making yourself a target or a victim. Okay, stay strong because you're with your fucking girlfriend. You're a grown man. You sat there just crying because you feel like it. Bruv, you're not... That girl, number one, she's going to lose attraction to you because she's like, this guy doesn't have any control over himself. That's a feminine trait to have. No emotional control is feminine, okay? Maybe not control, but no emotional intelligence is feminine. Not knowing when to let it out. That's feminine. She's going to lose attraction to that. Because feminine women are not attracted to masculine men. Do you understand? I know I'm going on a bit of a side tangent, but it's important for you to, as a young man, to understand how your energy is used. So, to clarify, there's nothing wrong with feeling emotion as a man, but there is something wrong with not knowing when to let that emotion out and how to use that emotion. There's something wrong with that, absolutely. Okay? So, how do we actually learn to control and harness these emotions? Fear, for example. How do we learn to harness fear? Okay, you see an attractive girl in the gym, you want to go on cold approach, you've never done it before. It's scary, you feel anxious, you feel fear. How do we learn to control that emotion and use it to our advantage rather than getting it to be working against us, basically? Because you have two options when you feel that fear. You could either allow that fear to dictate your actions and you could cower away and not cold approach, or you can use that fear to your advantage and go over there and go and speak to her with that extra energy of the fear. It's fuel, yeah? So you learn to control it through exposure, getting yourself out there, exposing yourself to that emotion. The reason I am in such good control of my emotions now, to the point where people call me stoic quite a lot, and it's because I don't show my emotions, and it's not that I don't show them in an unhealthy way, like I'm bottling everything up. It's just that I'm in such control over my emotions, and I think that I'm just such a positive guy anyway, that I don't really get upset about things or anything. But you know, fear, for example, I feel fear, of course I do. I'll see an attractive girl, I feel a bit nervous, I don't really feel like talking to her, and I'll allow the fear to dictate, right? I've learned through exposure, through putting myself in situations where I feel fear. So for example, I'll just do things that make me feel scared, stupid things. And I've spoken about this before, that you guys shouldn't follow this advice, but you should do it in a different way. Because nothing really phases me. I do things such as, I don't know, dangerous shit. Like I'll cross the road at the last second before the cars come in. It's stupid, it genuinely is foolish. But I do it to make myself feel some sort of fear. It scares me, obviously, right? So that exposure to that emotion allows me to understand it more. And when you understand it, you can then control it. So next time I feel that fear and I'm in a situation where I need to approach an attractive girl, whatever, I learn, I'm feeling fear again. I know this emotion because I've exposed myself to it on a daily basis, right? Stuff like, I don't know, cold showers or heavy squats in the gym. I'm trying to think of examples that aren't stupid and dangerous, like running in front of cars. But, you know, stuff that just makes you feel a bit uncomfortable, a bit uneasy, a bit anxious. Do those things, expose yourself to that emotion, learn about the emotion, and then learn how to harness it. Next time I'm in a situation where I feel fear, I understand it because I've exposed myself to it. Are you with me? Yeah? So next time I feel that fear, I can be like, okay, let me use this in a positive way. Rather than allowing that fear to work against me, I can now use it to my advantage. Right, fear, let me redefine the way I see it. Fear is a positive. Fear is fuel, it's extra energy. Now I'm going to use this to ramp it up, okay? Make sure that I'm aware of what's going on. I'm hyperstimulated, I'm kicked in gear, I'm acting in my most optimal way. That's what fear does to you. It kicks you into the present moment so tremendously that you have no other choice than to be present. You can't be thinking about, oh, what should I have for dinner when you're feeling scared. So it's powerful, and if you use it in a positive way by, you know, learning how to master that emotion, learning how to expose yourself to it and control it, it's very, very powerful. So to summarize, control your emotions, learn when to let them out. If you feel angry right now, don't let it out. You're in the middle of the gym. Actually, that's probably a good place to let it out, actually. But, you know, you're in public, you're in the shopping mall, and you feel angry, you feel pissed off. Letting it out in the shopping mall, in the shopping centre, whatever, and going around punching things, that's not a good use of that fuel. It's not a good use of that emotion, okay? You should instead control it. That's what being a man's about. Understanding, right, I'm feeling angry, let me control it. Is this the place to let this emotion out? No, it's not. Cool, control it, take a deep breath, harness it. Go and do some boxing later. Go and have a sparring session later. Go to the gym later and lift some heavy weights. Then I'll let the anger out. Then I'll use that emotion to my advantage because it's a bit of extra energy, right? You must also understand that it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel emotion. It's okay to feel pissed off. It's okay to feel down. It's okay to feel depressed. But what you do with that feeling and when you let that feeling out is absolutely important. That's my message I want to give out to you boys, is that don't feel ashamed because you feel sad, you feel like crying. You should feel ashamed, however, if you don't have any emotional intelligence, if you don't have any emotional control. If you feel sad and just because you feel like it, you go and allow that emotion to take over, that is something to be ashamed of. You should have more control over that. So get a grip of yourself, right? It's the same with your fucking porn addiction. I feel horny, so I'm going to take the easy option and go and watch porn. There's no emotional control there. There's no control over your impulses. You've got to learn to control these things. That is what makes you a superior man. Does that make sense? If you want to learn how to do this on a more in-depth personal level, on a situational level, come and talk to me. The coaching's down below. You can learn what I've had to learn through years of fucking hardship, and I'll take you from down here, bypass all the mistakes I had to make, straight to the top. Okay? It's a worthy investment, and the money that you invest into this, the knowledge that I'm going to be giving you, you'll be able to fucking triple, tenfold what you put into that in a year's time, just because of the knowledge, the mindset that you can adopt from what I've had to learn through hardship. Understood? Coaching down below in the description, first link in the description. Come and talk to me. I'll see you there. Take care, bro. Bye.